right, I'm going to be demonstrating how to efficiently cut up a spaghetti squash. So this is a winter squash variety that's really popular as an alternative to pasta. It's really fun. Unlike a lot of other winter squash varieties, this one has a nice stringy flesh, so you can actually shred it after it's been cooked, and it resembles like a very fine pasta, like an angel hair or something like that. So, as you can see, this is a big size. This is about a little over 4 pounds. So I really want to make sure that my cutting board is not going to slip around and I don't end up slipping and stabbing myself or anything like that. So I like to take a wet towel, put it underneath my cutting board. It's not going to go anywhere. So the first step in most winter squash prep, you're going to cut off the ends to make it stable so you can cut down the whole thing. So see, I'm really cranking in on it, but I'm going slow, just going up and down with my chef knife. I'm not trying to push down, I'm really rocking it back and forth. And you're gonna wanna use the longest chef knife in your kitchen for this. Just go really slow, stabilize the squash with one hand, I'm really pushing down and just rocking. And then I'm gonna cut off the other end. And don't try and cut too close to the end, thinking, oh, you're gonna lose a lot of flesh, you're gonna have a lower yield. It's worth it to go a little bit in from the end because that way you're not slipping, right? Like worst case scenarios, you're going down and you slip, something bad happens. So I'm about 1 inch from the end, rocking back and forth like so. Compost those. So now I have this nice stable squash. It's not gonna roll all over the place. I'm not gonna hurt myself. Now here we go. If I had a bigger knife, I'd be using it, but this is what I have, so we'll see how it goes. So same idea. I'm kind of pushing it on one end, and I am rocking it, being really careful, holding it down, going back and forth like that. All right, beautiful. So decent amount of seeds here. I'm going to take those out. I like to use a metal kitchen knife like this because it's really, you're scraping away those seeds. And even right now, as I'm scraping them away, I can see how different the flesh is from so many other winter squash varieties because it's stringing out, which is what makes it so good. So if you're going to like roast a squash and puree it into soup, this is not your guy. But if you're going to roast it and use it instead of pasta, this is definitely your squash. All right, so we're going to do that to both. These are also one of the more expensive varieties. When I went to the store and bought this assortment here of squash, this was the most per pound. I don't know the reason for that, but something to be aware of. The least expensive per pound was definitely the butternut. All right, so that looks great. And now this is one that we have the luxury of not having to peel it. Peeling winter squash is kind of a pain. So for this one, we're going to roast the whole thing. So I've got a sheet tray here. Just going to give it some spray. And then I'm going to cook it like that. And now, so the reason why we're cooking it cut side down and not like this is because this cavity of air is going to steam up and cook that squash really nicely. So we're just going to do it like that. I'm going to put it into a really hot oven, and when it comes out and cools, I'll show you what I'm going to do then.